pad 16 loops the sample. In this video, I'm gonna be going over 5 tips you didn't know you need on an MPC Live 2. And trust me, the 4th and the 5th one, you don't wanna miss, so make sure you stay tuned in to the end. So you can see I'm on the sample edit screen, and we have this loop feature right here. But for some reason, when you hit the pad, it doesn't loop. So our first tip is press pad 16 to loop your samples. Wow. Wow. Yeah, crazy, right? And I always wanted to be able to have that feature because in FL Studio, it has it in the Edison where you could just loop it rather than trying to guess it and then bring it to a pad and it doesn't work out. So that is definitely useful. And while we're at it, you're still able to use the loop features as well. And there's about like 3 options that you get. The first option doesn't really make sense because it just loops just like a normal loop. And the second option is kind of cool. So it plays it in reverse and then it also bounces back. So it's kind of like you're ping-ponging with your loops. So this is like a bonus tip. And this is for hearing it back in reverse. And you can move around with it too. So this is also very useful if you like to hear your samples in reverse. And also when you find your loop, keep in mind it's not gonna display back in reverse. You're gonna have to actually reverse it. So just go to process and then go to reverse and then just press do it. Now going on to tip 2, using the rest of the pads while you're in sample edit. So many people are just clicking on the first pad to play their sample, but also you see how I just press stop? Another quick way is just to press the red pads. And that cuts off very abruptly. So, you know, some pads could just still last long even when you press stop. So this cuts it off for sure. But the second pad actually plays back a little before your loop. So that can be convenient because now you could just kind of mess around like. That's another way that you can just find your chops like that. And then with pad 4, you can play everything else after your loop. So all of that is convenient. And also, if you want to play it back from the beginning while you still have your loop, just go to pad 9. That's pretty cool. Now for the third tip, what most of us would do when we're trying to loop a sample, we just go in, find something that we like, and then we play it. If you have any issues with clicks being in your sample, what you can do is hold down shift while you're on trim and go to 0 snap. Now 0 snap doesn't ensure that it's gonna not click, but 80 to 90% of the chance is a lot better than trying to adjust it with the Q links, because with the Q links, you know, you gotta have to really go in. I know that was a quick tip and you probably already know that one, but just wanna throw it in. But I got a bonus tip for you guys. You know how these Q links menu keep popping up? This can get really annoying, especially when you're just trying to look at your whole sample and you can't even see like what else is after that. It gets in the way. Or even when you're in grid mode and you're trying to look past what else is after the couple of bars, this could get annoying, but all you have to do is hold down Q link, and right here it says show Q link status when touch. Just turn that off. As easy as that one may be, is like, I didn't even know that, and I was getting frustrated, like, man, I hate that they have this. You probably heard it in one of my other videos, but now you don't have to see the Q link menu anymore. Now this could be useful at times, and you may turn it back on at times just to see what Q link does what, and it's easy to turn it back on. You just hold down Q link and click it back on, and then you have it there. Now, another bonus tip, since we on Q links, I just want to show you that you could adjust things on the fly. Let's say you don't have your Q link set up to adjust this volume, or you want to just, overwrite another Q link edit that you have. You can easily do that by holding down Q link. Make sure you're on project mode. If you're on screen, it's not gonna really work. You gotta be on project mode. So be on project mode and click learn. And then you're gonna see the light is blinking by Q link. Now, once the light is blinking by Q link, then use the first knob and then mess around with this. And now you can adjust it. So you can do that with effects as well, and it's just very useful, especially if you have some Q links set up that you're not using and you don't want to go back into the menu and mess around with the other ones. You just want to just edit a quick one. You can just easily do that. So just once again, hold down Q link, make sure you're on project, put it on learn, make sure learn is blinking, and then adjust the knob that you want to have the feature on. And once you have it on, move around the effect that you want, and there you have it. Now, if you're finding these tips useful right now, make sure you give this video a like and also share in the comments what is your favorite tip so far. Now, tip number 4, this one is chef kiss. Because for me, when I bring in the sample, part of my workflow sometimes is to go to trim right away with the whole sample and put on BPM chops. Now I'm able to just find the chops off the back. But here's the part that you didn't know you need. So let's say I like pad 4, but I want to push it back a bit more. So let's just actually press start to mess with the starting. So let's say I want to start from there. But now when I go to pad 3, you can see that the length is affected by pad 4 since I moved it. Now, when you don't want to affect the other pad, all you have to do is take off link slices. Oh my gosh. Let's go, baby, let's go. Now if we just undo, and I was to do the same thing, and have it like that, I could go back to pad 3. Pay attention to this red line. Look at pad 4 and pad 3. It doesn't mess with the previous chop or the chop after it. Let's say I bring in the start a bit more, and then I hit pad 1. So you see that empty space is now inactive. All right, for the last tip that you didn't know you need is when it comes to the XY effects. We all been wondering why Akai did this, where if we're trying to insert effects on the output, which is the master channel, it doesn't record. Let me just put it on right. And if you haven't seen my XY effects video, make sure you watch that. So let's just try to add an effect to it. Okay, let's say we have that. What's happening? Why is it not playing? So that has been an issue for a lot of users on MPC Live too. So if you're new to it, don't worry. All you have to do is just go to looper and then go to input, go to resample. And once you have it on resample, take it off of overdub because you don't want it to play back over, and you'll see what I mean. And just press record. Then you're gonna press play to start your beat. Now, when you start your beat, it's gonna start recording. What you're gonna have to do is press next sequence, double tap it so you get to it fast, and then you add your effects this way. So let's just do that. And you want to go to a new program because this is pretty much the sample take that you're going to use with everything on it, and you're just going to solo this so it mutes everything else. And then we go back to menu, looper. Now we can export it, and you can play it from here. And then we could just rename it. I'll just call it chop. And then you can hit any pad that's on that program. I'm just gonna go to the first pad on program 3. Now we can go shift sample edit, and we'll have our chop right here. And if you remember, the second tip is to mess around with the other pad chops. So instead of starting from the beginning, we can hit pad 3, and you have your effect. And also, this is another way you can layer your Y effects. So now that we have our effects right here, and then you just do the same process. Go to looper, come back in, and record it. Now, if you found the tips in this video useful and you would like more tips, make sure you watch this next video. It got jam-packed of gems and it's gonna make you become faster on MPC Live too. Peace.